Is it that time already? Is it Friday 9 o'clock? It certainly is. Right, almost 100 in already. So welcome to everyone. Nice to see you all here. I'll be honest with you guys. I nearly didn't do a live stream tonight because there's not really anything new happening in Thailand. Not a lot of news. There's a few bits and pieces which I've jotted down to tell you about later, but there's not a lot. And I don't like to be repetitive, saying the same things every week. So I'll give it a go. I thought Frank will kind of talk me into it. So I'll go for a while and we'll see how we get on. I'll kind of feed off the comments and hopefully we can get some conversations going from everybody tonight. But as I say, 120 in already, so that's good news. That's a good start. Right, so let me say hi to everyone as usual. Some early birds in. Let's explore Bangkok. Hi to you. Looking forward to the show later. Take care of yourself. JB, she's got a great pair of sunglasses. Yeah, somebody wrote to me and said that was her girlfriend, but I think they're pulling my leg. And if it is his girlfriend, then lucky him. Right, Damon, how are you? Or should I say blockhead? Private joke there, guys. Shinrana, how are you doing? Pierre Glover, yeah, thanks for that. Zach Olamos, hello, is everybody out there, especially Asian Thailand chicks? What's up? I just want to read one from, let me see if I can find this one. Lancia, is it? I hope he's got this on. Let me put that up on screen there. Yeah, there's a guy there called Lancia, and you can see his message. He says, I'm finally in the Uber on my way to the airport, going to Bangkok after 3 years. I know exactly how he's feeling because, you know, guys, I came back just over a month ago. And I remember when I was driving down to the airport, it was 2 years. I was in my little car. I was on my way to the airport. I was booked into an overnight a hotel at the airport. But he said, you're on your way. It's so difficult to explain, but he's probably feeling the same kind of feelings that I was feeling on that day. I don't know how long he's gone for, but hopefully he'll keep in touch with us when he's in Bangkok. All right. Lieutenant Colombo Glass Eye, how you doing? Jolly Fox, hi. Brian Street, evening, mate. First 1660. I got a surprise for you tonight. I haven't got any Cronenbergs tonight. I've got something else. I have to blame my wife for that. I'll tell you about that a little bit later. I've done an Ed Sweeney tonight. I've gone sort of cheap. Talking of Ed Sweeney, which I always do, I spoke to Ed today. Well, messaged him, and he's off. If you watched his stream yesterday, he's gone to Thailand. We're planning to do a stream together soon when he's somewhere a little bit more interesting. But yeah, he's on his way to Bangkok. Crypto Chris Card, how are you doing? Les, aloha Peter. Just got an estimate for an AC and air conditioning. All right, lucky you. Okay, let me put your other message up. There you go. Look, Peter, how did you get the pic of my girlfriend? And who said you can use it on the blog? I was going to say something. I won't. Hi, if you've just joined us, 210 in now. It's a good start. Yeah, Lancia again. Oh, we've had that one. What was the other one you put up there? Harold, how you doing? Harold Bishop. Good evening, Peter. Time for another cracking Friday evening stream. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to keep this going for tonight, Harold, because there's hardly any news coming out of Thailand at the moment. So I'm going to just have to, hopefully you guys will bring something up. I'll tell you what, I don't want to talk about what's going on in Ukraine at the moment. I mean, it's bloody sad. We all know that. I'm not going to give any opinions. It's really bad what's going on. That's all I'll say. You all watch the news. You all know what's going on. I'm sure you've all got the same opinion out there. Let's leave it at that. Right, let me say hi to Sean. Hey, Peter, hope all is well with yourself and family. Keep up the great channel and work. Yeah, we'll try. I got, before I say hi to anybody else, do you know Brian Flowers? He runs the Nightwish group in Pattaya. Brian's been in Pattaya for about 15 years. He's a businessman down there. He's quite switched on. He's got his own channel. I actually interviewed him this week, so that's coming out on Sunday. But he did one of me, which he just put up. I don't know if you've seen that one. And I did one of him. I interviewed him, but they're totally different because he's asking me all about YouTube and channel and all the rest of it. But I was talking to him about business and the trolling he gets in Pattaya, and he was giving tips to if you want to go there and start a business and things not to do, all that sort of thing. It's about 50 minutes long, but I edit my interviews. I run through them and chop out all the bits I don't like. So that's on Sunday. That's Brian Flowers. Right, Mike, how you doing, mate? You all right? Nice to see you in the stream again. Taxi Talal, need a bit of intro music while we wait. Hope you're well. That's quite a good idea, isn't it? But then I'd have to, it would be live then. It would actually be live. It would take up more bandwidth of my package that I've got. Let's not go there. Another one from Mike. Good evening. I can see why you're moving to Bangkok. Cold and rain all week. Yeah, I'm really getting excited about it now. I did have some trepidation. Is that the word? If you don't know, I'm actually moving out to Thailand. I did say last time, hopefully by the summer holidays, but the way things are going, I think it's going to be more like the end of the year. I have started to make a lot of progress with things. I've started wrapping things up. I went and made a will this week. I don't know what possessed me to do that, but I went to a solicitor's. I paid £178 and I made a proper kosher will. So I don't know. My wife's been asking me that for years. I hope she hasn't got anything planned for me. I see her digging the end of the garden yesterday. I'm only joking if she watches this. No, I'm looking forward to it. And I had a good idea yesterday because we're selling this house, and a lot of the things I can sell on Facebook Marketplace and eBay and that. But there's lots of things that you gather over the years, and you think, I'll still probably have to, but I was going to get a skip and put it out the front of the house, and then you just chuck everything in there. But I had a look and I thought, it's a shame to throw, there's some nice pictures on the wall, some kitchen equipment, just stuff that's not really worth loads of money, but to chuck it all in a skip is just criminal. And I suddenly thought, why don't I do a car boot sale? I used to do car boot sales when I was a bit younger for fun. I used to take my daughters when they grew out of the toys they had. We'd go and do a car boot on a Sunday morning. You get up at 6 a.m. But I thought, why not? I've got all this kit that I've got to sell. I might as well set up a couple of trestle tables, and if it's £5 for this and £7 for that, why not? I might pay for my ticket to Bangkok, so I'm going to do that. Right, let me carry on saying hello to everyone. How many we got in now? Nearly 300. That's good. Hi to. Let me give a shout out to a few people before I forget. So I'm going to say a shout out to Franco first of all, because Franco's in the background there with his whip and his reins, so he's watching out for everyone. Right, I want to say hi to John the accountant. John the accountant, I met him on this channel. Believe it or not, guys, if you get in touch with me, I'm not one of these guys that I've got my head stuck up my backside, or I think I'm something special, or just like that. If people reach out and get in touch with me, then I'm quite happy to talk to them. And there are certain people I speak to regularly by text. There's certain people I speak to by email. And there's a couple of guys I actually speak on the phone, but I'm always very wary about the phone. But I spoke to John the accountant last Sunday by phone. He's okay because he had some information for me. There's some stuff I told him that he didn't know. And if you do watch this, John, I am going to get that link over to you. I haven't had it yet. I want to say hi to Noel. Noel is a blind man. Obviously, he can't watch this, but he listens to it and he enjoys it. I know he does because he contacted me tonight, and he said he listens to it and he'll be listening tonight. So Noel, if you're out there, you're not missing much by not seeing my ugly face, mate. Voice is enough. Right, let me say hi to somebody's giving me a super chat there, and it's the usual suspects that give me the super chats. Dave Andrew, 20 quid straight in. I have a Kronenberg. I don't drink alone. Thanks, Dave. I'm not on the Kronenberg tonight. I've got something a little bit special from Aldi today. When I say special in, it was really, really cheap. My wife bought it. I don't try to get a message across to me. Okay, let's get rid of that. And there's somebody else I wanted to say. I've got a photograph of someone here. Okay, let's get back up to... right, I've just got to... Just put that on to get rid of that. That's right. We'll get rid of I'll put these exchange rates up a bit later on as well. Let's get rid of that. I'll tell you what, let's bring a little bit of humor into the stream early. Let me show you something. I just come across this today. I was looking through some pictures and I found this. I thought this was quite humorous. Have a look at this, guys. Oh, let me take the logo off or you won't be able to read it. Hang on. There you go. We might as well have another one while doing these. I've got about 4 of these tonight. There's another one for you there, guys. That would be funny if it wasn't so true, wouldn't it? Hey, Falang, you have a big problem. You're not wearing your crash helmet. Yeah, look at everybody else around him. Okay, we'll do some more of those later. Who was I going to say hi to now? I've got a picture of somebody here. Yeah, do you know there's an Australian guy called Wes Appleyard, and he's a big fan of the channel. He likes the stories, and he's always in the live streams. But he's in Thailand at the moment. I know he went to Thailand, went to Phuket, did his Shah first day, 5th day, and everything. But he sent me a picture of him having a good time. So Les is the one in the blue shirt on the left there, or driving. You could say he's driving, isn't he? So that's obviously his. I would imagine that's his Thai wife. One of the 2 ladies behind him is a Thai wife. Probably the middle one, I would imagine. And yeah, so he's on tour there in his car. He's having a good time, and I'm sure he'll be chuffed to bits to see that. All right, all right, Wes, you'll be famous now. There you go. All right. Okay, who else we got in tonight? Let's go down these comments. Anybody I missed? Right. Taxi to Laos said hi to you. Right, Shane Old Traveller, how you doing? Greeting lads from streaming lukewarm Melbourne. Yeah, nice to see you in Shane Old Traveller. I see you in whose stream do I see you in quite often? I see you in Ed Sweeney's stream quite often. We seem to share a few of the same the same viewers. I suppose certain people who like a certain kind of channel, they'll look at similar ones. Like, when I went on Bangkok Pat's channel, I got slaughtered, didn't I? People were like, if you don't know Bangkok Pat, he does a documentary style. He makes videos around Bangkok, very serious, very good videos actually. And he interviewed me, and people were like, "Oh, why have you got that guy on your channel? He's such a sleaze bag. He's like a secondhand car salesman. He's a bit dodgy, and you're bringing your channel down and all this." Obviously, I'm not very popular on his channel, but there you go. Rob, how you doing? Right, Even Pete got this the Cronenberg's lubrication ready. Yeah, I was just saying, Rob, I've got an oldie kind of cheapie tonight because of my wife, but you must be getting very close to your trip now. You're going in the next sort of, I would imagine, 2 weeks, something like that. And I don't think you've been before, you were saying, so you'll be looking forward to that. But I was speaking to somebody who's in Thailand at the moment, and it's kind of weird because when I was there, it was people were saying, "Oh, it's starting to get busy again now. More and more tourists are coming in." But then it went down again because they brought in that stupid fifth day Shah pass. You had to go back to a hotel on the 5th day, and who wants to do that? Unless you're desperate. And I certainly wouldn't have done it. And then numbers went down again, and now that's gone, isn't it? So 1st of March. Yeah, well, that's gone 1st of March. Everybody guesses, don't they? Let me read an article out to you. I'm sure you've all heard this. It's not new news. It's sort of earlier in the week. This is about this Thailand pass and all this Shah, and everywhere's opened up now. You look at the Philippines, Cambodia, Vietnam. You've just got to prove you've had your 2 vaccines in your own country, which is very, very easy. Everyone's had them now. And a PCR test before you get on the plane. So when you arrive, there it is. Or you show it at the airport, actually, before you get on your plane. And that's it. In those other countries, you don't. And you've probably heard this, but I'll read it out anyway. It says, I got this from the, where did I get? I think I got this from the Tiger, but I think they got it from the Bangkok Post. Tourism operator submits a letter to the MP calling for all entry restrictions to be lifted. A number of groups representing tourism operators, as well as the Thai Hotels Association, are calling for all entry restrictions to be lifted from next month. The Bangkok Post reports that the groups have written an open letter to the PM and other government officials calling for the country to be fully reopened to foreign visitors from March. In the letter, the groups say they want all restrictions ditched, including the Thailand pass and PCR testing on arrival, and want COVID-19 declared endemic. It was also recommended that travelers still undergo an RT-PCR test 72 hours, not 24 hours, 72 hours before departure, as well as present proof of vaccination before boarding the flight. That makes sense, doesn't it? It's been going on too long now. They're going to have to do something because they're going to be in real problems now. Because if you think about it, the Chinese government, they're very, very strict. They've still got the country locked down. The Chinese can't go anywhere because they're still trying to eliminate it. And now Russia, with what's going on, so many thousands of Russians have cancelled their planned trips. The ruble's in the toilet now, isn't it? Is it 40% of its value? So the last thing on Russians' minds is going on holiday to Thailand. Even the rich ones now, they're starting to freeze their assets and stuff, aren't they? So Thailand have got to pull their finger out, really, when you think about it, because they've got no Chinese, they've got they will have no Russians. They were talking about India as a travel bubble because they're now concentrating on countries that are quite close to them. So they want to bring in tourists that are maybe, no more than an hour and a half away. And India fits into that category. And they said it was all green for go. And then I read another story. It said that presently there's no flights from any airline between India and Thailand. But I think there's 12 airlines have now signed up and said they're going to start bringing people from India in. So that, the thing is they're going to be desperate because not only with this thing with Russia, I said I wouldn't talk about the Russian-Ukraine thing. I'm not. I'm talking about Thailand. But of course, what's happening with the economy in Russia, it counts for a lot what's going on in Thailand. Another example, Thailand make a lot of cars, because labor's quite cheap in Thailand. There's factories, and those cars, a lot of those cars go to Russia. So obviously with the embargoes and everything, a lot of foreign countries have closed their gates to Russia now. They're not going to be able to sell cars to Russia. So they can't sell cars. I'm sure there's a lot of other goods that are produced in Thailand that go to Russia. Tourists, they're going to lose thousands of tourists. China's closed. So they've got to do something now. So if they insist on, everyone around them has opened up now. So if they insist on this Thailand pass and all the stuff that goes with it, they're just shooting themselves in the feet, aren't they? From a guess, and it is purely a guess. Personally, I don't think it can go on much longer. They've got to drop it. They've got to drop it, or they're going to be in big trouble. What do you guys think? Jody, you guys out there having issues getting currency? Not here, no, not in the UK. Where are you, Jody? You're not in Russia, are you? Right. Moist Manic. Hiya, Peter. Yeah, funny enough, I was thinking about you today. I don't know why. Oh, well, I do know why, because you tend to have the same kind of people in the stream most weeks, and you get to remember the names. I can like when I see a name in this chat, I think like Rob Zapone, right? He's in every week. I am Tilt. He's in every week. I'm just looking at the people who are there. Black Bolt, good evening to you, sir. He's just come in. So Darren Drew. So that's just there's loads more, but that's just in front of me now. And you get to know the regulars. And I know you've changed your Moist. Is it Maniac? Yeah. You've changed your username because it used to be something slightly ruder than that. So I'm glad to see you've improved that. But I was just thinking today I hadn't seen you in for a few weeks, unless I'd missed you. But good to see you in again. I'd love to know what your real name is because I know you live in Thailand, don't you? Worldwide what? Hi. Daniel Mills, hi. We said hi to Black Bolt. Darren Drew. Darren, that guy, I don't want to mention his name. I don't want to give him any publicity, but the guy who left a derogatory comment as an answer to your comment on Ed Sweeney's stream the other day. I know you deleted it, but really the guy doesn't bother me. I'll tell you his background. He used to watch my stream and he said something that I disagreed with him on, some fact that I knew wasn't correct. And I told him so, and he didn't like it. He went off in a huff, threw his toys out of the pram. He started coming back, and he wasn't a troll. He was what you'd call a cyberbully. So he was coming back in every message. He was leaving crap. So of course, this is my stream. I just blocked him. So of course, his next move, what he did then is when I went on Ed's stream, I started leaving comments on Ed's stream. Wednesday 9 p.m. he used to do his stream when he was in the UK, and everything I wrote, he'd write something derogatory under my comment. So and then I wasn't watching Ed's stream so much because I was doing my other stuff. And I know you, Darren, you left a comment that I got some news from the Tiger. So it wasn't my news. I'd read it on the Tiger. I told it on this channel. You mentioned it on Ed's stream, and he wrote underneath, "Oh, Peter talks a load of rubbish," and you went off and deleted it. So thanks for that, but you didn't really have to because people like that, they don't bother me, and they're just talking nonsense. So, but thanks again anyway. Right, Black Bolt. Hello, Peter. Figured I'd surprise you this week. Yeah, in early. You're normally in sort of 30 seconds before the end, aren't you? 370 in now, so good to see everyone. Roger, good afternoon from Brazil. Wow. I'd love to go to Brazil and Colombia. Actually, they're parts of the world I've never sort of visited. I was saying, I'll just put this up. I'm not going to say any more of yours, Paul. Right? Okay. I will continue to put them up though, Paul, as you've got a little bit of a fan club now. TGC 2450. Hi, nice to see you in again. Another regular. Matthew Alcorn. Hi to you, another regular. Happy as Larry. Great to see you, sir. Have been looking forward to your vlog tonight. Okay, and I like that username. Happy as Larry. It's a good username. Brian Roberts. Hi, how are you? John Paul. Hi. Milad's View. Hi from Vancouver. It's quite a community now. People from all over the world. I suppose. For us in the UK, it's now, what time is it? It's 9:20 in the evening. It's a typical night in the UK. It's raining. It's cold. It's windy. I think this is the first time I actually wore a T-shirt on the stream, no collar sort of thing. Who was that? Blockhead. Evening, Mr. Doctor. Peter, have a great stream tonight. From all the best from Blockhead. Yeah, that's kind of a private joke. I was trying to get. No, I won't go there. Right. Lewis Beck, is it? Good morning, Peter from Subic. Another regular. I recognise your photograph. Probably taken in the 70s, I would imagine, when you were serving in the military. Yusuf, Mo Gamd, is it? Hi there, Yusuf here. Just love your Thailand bound stories. Well, Yusuf, glad to hear that, mate. There's 4 more coming over to tomorrow morning. Let me just tell you something about the stories tomorrow morning. Now that you brought it up, the stories that, let me just get rid of this one. Lewis, you're a handsome man, but I can't keep up there all night. There we go. Right, the stories tomorrow. I was telling somebody else that when you listen, if you're one of those guys who listens to stories, you're gonna get revved up tomorrow, and I mean you're gonna get angry, because I tell you what, there's a story in there, and it starts off like a normal story. Guy goes to Pattaya, meets a bar girl, blah blah blah. I don't want to give it away here, but the story develops into something else, and when you hear it, you're gonna get mad. You are gonna get mad, guys. Believe me, because I read it and I was gritting my teeth, and I wanted to go over there and I mean, I'm 62. Who am I kidding? But just listen to the stories tomorrow, and I guarantee. Please don't swear in the comments or put anything racist, because they'll get deleted, by YouTube and myself. But yeah, Yusuf, thanks for letting me know that. But you'll enjoy them tomorrow. And Brian Flowers on Sunday. I've got that one going up on Sunday. I gotta try and find. I want to try and find some more interesting people to interview, because as interesting as some of the YouTube vloggers are, like somebody made a very valid comment on one of them. They said, look, you guys, you're just interviewing each other. Why don't you interview someone interesting? Like, I enjoyed interviewing Katie, the American woman whose husband ran off with a bar girl, God bless her. But she was a nice lady. I like talking to her, and I'd like to do some more kind of interviews like that. When I move out to Thailand, hopefully, I don't know what YouTube's stance would be if I interviewed, say, a ladyboy. I'm not into ladyboys, but I'd like to interview one and just say, well, when did this start? How did you find out? And just talk to them like a human being, an adult, and just have an intelligent conversation. I think that would make a good video. I think it would be interesting. Or maybe a bar girl. Just try and get a bar girl, and I don't know, I'll pay a couple of $1,000 baht and sit down and say, tell us a couple of your nightmare stories. What's happened? Have you got good memories of a guy who looked after you? Have you got horror stories of guys who took you back to the room and beat you up? I wouldn't mind paying them for their time if it makes a good video. I'd like to do things like that, but I don't know what YouTube's policy are on there. Now, the obvious thing, you could come back at me and say, well, why didn't you go in and read YouTube's policies? Well, of course I do, but the problem is it's like War and Peace, and they change every week. But I would like to do that. I think they would make very interesting videos. Can you imagine sitting down with a bar girl in the light of day, having a coffee, no BS, and basically she tells you a couple of her stories. Like the stories I tell, but she tells you maybe she tells us 2 stories. One really nice one where she was looked after and everything went right, and then maybe a nasty one where she came unstuck one night. We'll see when I go to Thailand, I'm going to look into that. That's something I'd like to get into. Right, Stuart Marston. Evening, Peter. Just back from a couple of days in Dublin. Came racing up the M1 from Luton to Northampton, ready for the stream. Thanks, Stuart. Appreciate that. I hope you didn't get a ticket, because you know what them cameras are like. And just in case you don't know it, when you're coming up the M1, if the the speed limit's 70, if you get those flashing 50s, they bring it down to 50. A lot of people think, well, the cameras are set till 70, so I can just go. You can't. The cameras come down to 50 as well, so be careful of that one. Guideline 7, hi from Germany. Another regular. Scott G, hi, how are you? Jonathan, what are you saying? Good morning from Melbourne. How's the weather in your area? A lot of rain. Something tells me, Jonathan, you're rubbing salt into our wounds. You know what the weather's like. It's England and it's March. It's horrible. Paul Shackington, watermelon. What about the watermelon story? Seems very dodgy. What? I don't know that. What's that one then? Tell us a bit more about the watermelon story. Don't know. I watched Ed's stream this morning because he obviously is on a different timeline, and I had to laugh. And it must be old age. He said he was in a go-go bar and he was looking this way and he was getting his drink, and he looked round and some girl had kind of, just for a joke, gone right up to his face, big pair of coconuts, and she'd lifted her top up like this in his face, but he wasn't looking. So of course, when he turned around, these things just hit him, and he was complaining about it. Ed, you've been in Thailand too long. If you watch this, you're living the dream. Okay. V, Peter, please give Bristol Nick a shout out. Bristol Nick, how you doing? Big N, hey Pete from South Wales. Hi, Big N. Omar, right. Omar, when you going back, Peter? Right. Well, let's get this one out of the way. Let me just see what Franco's saying. I'll come back to you. 210 in the house, only 21 likes. Come on, boys and girls, get them likes and push that button. Well, it's 389 in now, Franco. So I'm guessing you dropped that in a little bit earlier, and there's 67 in there. Right, who are we talking to there? Right, Omar. Yeah, so I did actually start talking about this, didn't I? So, guys, I'm going back to Thailand full-time, planning to go in this summer, but it looks like maybe now towards the end of the year. And I was telling you about a car boot. I'm selling my house, and I'm going to sell a load of stuff in a car boot. I've got a little bit of a problem at the moment. When I was young, I worked very, very hard, and I put my money away. I didn't, pee it all up against the wall. And I bought this little terraced house that I rent out. And I've had this guy in there for about 8 years, and he's just been a total dick at the moment. He's always late with his rent, but I got his rent. But I gave him his notice because I can't have him in there while I'm not in town, because he's just, I can't rely on that rent because I don't know when it's coming. Could be the beginning of the month, end of the month. Anyway, I just wanted to get him out. He's not paying. He's paying a lot less rent than I can get for that house. So we give him his notice. He hasn't responded to the estate agent who look after it for me, the letting agent. And, she's been sending him emails, calling him. He doesn't return calls. He doesn't return emails, nothing, totally blanked off. Well, she went round there today, and basically what he said to her, he said, I'm not moving from here until the bailiffs are stood on my front door, and I'm not paying another penny in rent. And a waft of weed, the smell of weed came out. So, I've got to go through. It's a pain. It's going to cost me about £15,000, believe it or not. And if you don't live in the UK, it's so bad. If you rent a property out, because we're seen as, I worked hard all my life for my family. I tried to provide. I left school at 15 with no qualifications. I went straight to a steelworks. I haven't had a day off sick. So I've got a few houses that I rent out, not because I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, but I've worked hard and I've tried to do the right thing for my family. Yet you get a guy like that, he moves in, he decides he's not going to pay any rent. The legal system in the UK turn around and say, well, we've got to protect the tenant. He can stay there a year. We know it's going to cost you £15,000 court costs and solicitors fees, but hey, you're the big bad landlord. So I'll come back to your question about Thailand. I'll just get that out there, get it out, have a whinge. But that's how it is in the UK. But you've just got to suck it up and be bigger than that and, get on with it. So that's causing me a little bit of hassle. But other than that, I've started to get the wheels in motion now. I've been in touch with the estate agent about selling my place. It's a great time to sell, as long as World War III doesn't start, of course, because it's that time of year coming where, people start to buy and sell houses. So I'm looking forward to going out there. I'm really looking forward to going out there. And as I've said many times on the stream, guys, I'm 62. What's the life in the UK? It's a routine. It's the same thing every day. After sort of dinner time or tea time, whatever you want to call it, at 5 o'clock meal, 6 o'clock meal. I take my dog out. I have a shower. I sit down in front of Netflix with a few beers, and I do the same every night. In Thailand, you come out of your hotel, your son's on your back, you can use the pool. There's gyms everywhere. People are nice. People walk around with a smile on their face. Everyone's miserable here. I just can't wait to go. 20 Rothmans, let's cheer things up a bit. I hope it's a good one. Right, hi Peter. Thailand hit the news in a bad way after what happened to Warne. Yeah, I think I've got something about that. Hang on. Yeah. Cricket led, if you don't know, if you haven't heard this one, cricket, I'll just read it to you. He was living in Thailand as well, actually. Thanks for reminding me about this story. Cricket legend Shane Warne passes away from a suspected heart attack at in his Koh Samui villa in Thailand. Shane Warne, 52, from Australia, widely regarded as one of the finest bowlers of all time and who was well known for his revival of the leg spin in cricket, passed away at his villa from a suspected heart attack this morning, March 4th in Koh Samui. Very, very sad. So, RIP to him. And thanks for reminding us about that. 52 is quite young, isn't it? But my father, he was my adopted father, not my real father. He actually had a heart attack and died when he was 47. I mean, that is young. Right, okay. I'm just reading some of the blocked comments that Franco's done there. Quite interesting. Over 400 in now. We're climbing. Somebody said to me the other day they noticed there's some Danish Bacon's not in tonight. That's very unusual. He's normally in every week. But somebody said to me that they'd noticed in a lot of the streams now, a lot of the Thai streams, the numbers seem to be less for everybody of viewers. Rob, you're cutting into your Thailand pot here. That could buy you a nice soapy massage. Let me get that up. Right, Rob, thanks a lot. Right, fly out on the 31st, so I presume that's the 31st of March, which is just over 3 weeks away. Can't wait. Get the missus to get you some real Okay, I've got some mates out there who were on Nick Dean's video yesterday. Houston taxi drivers strike again. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of taxi drivers go to Pattaya, black cab drivers, and that makes sense, Rob, because what happens with them, they're busy from October. You know, you got Halloween, haven't you? You got the Christmas parties coming, the New Year's, so they're really full on, and they make a lot of money October, November, December. And if you think about it, like anything in the UK or probably all around the world, January everyone's maxed out their credit cards. And you know, no one's got any money, have they? So there's nothing happening in January, and people don't go out to pubs and restaurants because they've been doing it for 3 months over Christmas. And you know, so those guys got a lot of free time. They got all their money from Christmas, so they go out to Pattaya. And you know, I knew a few taxi drivers out there who go out for January, February, maybe even March as well, and come back in April and do it all again. You know, why not if they're single? Okay, Ross Cook. He died today of a heart attack in Koh Samui. Yep, he's only 52 as well. Right, Moise, are you coming back? Right, I've got the mother of all stories for you, Peter. Working on it now. So crazy, you might have trouble believing it. I won't. I've seen, you know, some of the stories that I've had on the channel. Don't forget, I've been reading these stories out for 2 years. Sometimes there's normally 2 to 4 stories each week. Some of them I've had to cut them to pieces because you know, they involve violence and brutal stuff. I will believe it, but just while you're here, when you send a story in, write it in a Word document, because I try to make. If you notice the stories, it doesn't matter if there's 1 or 8. It's normally 30-35 minutes max. That's how much. That's how long the videos are. And the way I do that is on teen, and when it's 10 pages, I know that's half an hour or thereabouts. So if I put a story in, it's only 2 pages, I'll put another one in. If it's now 5 pages, I'll put another one in. If it goes to 12, I'll delete that last one and replace it with maybe 2 smaller ones. So when you write your story, if you can write it in a Word doc, write it in Arial font 14, and try to make it no longer than sort of, if you have to, 8 pages, but that's a bit long, maybe 6 pages. I know it's difficult because you want to get all the details in, but try and condense it down. And I do believe it straight away before I've even seen it. I know you're not going to send in stupid stuff that's not true. Right, David Kiernan, I hope I pronounced that probably. Peter, has Brian Flowers opened up some of his bars? Do you know what? I should know that because I interviewed him last week. I've got an interview with him on Sunday. He might have said, I don't know if I asked him that question, but I don't like to BS. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I honestly don't. Well, actually, Ed said on his stream yesterday that the Goga bars, they're not allowed to dance yet, are they? So some of them might be sneakily open, but I don't think there's anybody dancing on stage yet. Mark, how you doing, mate? I know you like the stories as well. Yeah, you did make it. I don't know how long I'll be going tonight because 1, I've got to get up early, and 2, I haven't got a lot prepared because there's just not a lot of news going on in Thailand at the moment. Right, Dave Dorman, looking forward to going on one of you. Okay, do you know? I mean, I wouldn't mind getting some guests on here. There's a lot of people in Thailand that could get on here. You know, when I'm doing a live stream, I could bring them in and I could do a half-an-hour session. You could ask them questions, but the problem is the time difference is 7 hours at the moment. It's really difficult. Like when I did the interview with Brian, the one I'm going to release on Sunday, it was 10 p.m. for him, and it was, what's that, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. It was 3 in the afternoon. So it was 3 in the afternoon for me. It was 10 p.m. for Brian, but Brian works 7 days a week. He'll work till midnight, 1 o'clock, no problem. So we did that at that time, but it's really difficult. And I was thinking in the UK, who could I interview that would be interested? I don't want to just interview anybody just for the sake of it. They've got to be a bit interesting. And, you know, we've actually got a Thai restaurant in this town. There's about 7 Thai girls working there. I thought of maybe going in there and seeing if I could get an interview with at least one of them. And how did you get here? Are you married to a foreigner and all that sort of thing? But I haven't had the nerve to go in there yet, to be honest. A little bit shy like that. Right, Jack Fletcher. I suspect test and go will be dropped in a month. They will just require pre-flight PCR tests. We'll be heading back to our house in Prachaburi. Yeah, no, you're right, Jack. I mean, that's what, I don't know if you've just come in, but that's what was mentioned earlier on. Vietnam, the Philippines, and, you know, Cambodia, the surrounding countries to Thailand, they're all open now. And, you know, they've had this open letter sent to the PM, whether they'll take any notice of it. You know, the tourism industry, the airlines, They need to get bodies, they need to get boots on the ground, as people like to say, but they need to get tourists coming in. They're trying to get the Indians in now because they're local. I mentioned this earlier. China, they're under lockdown. They're not going anywhere. And now with the Russians, they're not going anywhere either. So, they need to get us in there, don't they? They need to get us in there. Dave, hi, Pete. If sometime we meet in Pattaya, I'll give you my story. Well, Dave, I probably wouldn't take it off you in Pattaya because I'm not going to sit there and listen to it and kind of bring a note. I don't carry like a notebook and jot it all down. No, Dave, the best way, let me get my email address. The best way is put it in a Word doc. Just type it out. Normally I rewrite out any slang or swear words. And, no, I've actually lost. There it is. Look, there it is. Look, you can send it there. Just send it in a regular email. There's a bit of there's a few weeks wait at the moment, but most of the stories that get sent in, I do read, depending on how many stories I've got. Sometimes you can wait 2 months till it goes up. But, guys tell me when I've read the story out, they get such a thrill because they write this story, then they send it, they forget about it. And then they'll be sitting there one Saturday and all of a sudden, I'm telling their story and it must be great for them. I'm sure guys who listen to their own story, I'm sure they listen to it sort of like, 10 times. I know I would. All right. Right, Dave. Hi, Peter. If sometime we've done that. JB, I think they should call pre-op ladyboys hybrids and post-op ladyboys plugins. Yeah, we could try that. I've noticed there's a lot of words that are coming out that aren't in the English dictionary, but are related. Well, I say a few, but there's words coming out that only relate to kind of Pattaya. Pattaya is developing its own language. It is, like Monger, right? We all know that one. Now, the one I've sort of learned recently, but it seems to be just related to Pattaya, is a simp. The guy's a simp, simple, but a simp, and I had a lot of comments, like, the Dave and Nat animations, like people would write and they're great, they'd enjoy it. But I had a lot of comments, oh, Dave's a simp and, what a simp. And I was getting that quite a lot. And I thought, this guy's got multiple usernames because that's a very unusual term to use, simp, isn't it? And I was getting a lot of these and I thought he must have set up a lot of accounts. What's he doing? But no, it's, Pattaya is developing its own language. So you give it another 10 years and you'll need to buy a translation book when you go to Pattaya. Right, Michael Green, big shout out to Taxi Dave. Taxi Dave, you've had your shout out. There you go. Right, U-Dog. Hi from Chicago. In Bangkok, 12 days and need a taxi to Pattaya on the 22nd. It would be nice to use Apple. Yeah, the thing is, Dave, I haven't actually got her number. I've only got her line. Why don't you, what's the best way to do it? So you, Chicago and Bangkok in 12, need a taxi to Pattaya on the 22nd. What's the date today? Yeah, I mean, Apple will take you down there. I don't know what she charges because I just give her what I feel like, normally more than she's asking me. And then she'll give me a hug at the airport. She always gives me a hug. But yeah, I mean, but I haven't got, it's weird this is. I haven't got a phone number for her. I've got a line and I can't just give out her line. What's the best way to do it? All right, Dave, let me put my email up again. Right, there it is there. So email me tomorrow. I might not answer till Monday or Tuesday. Just email me that same message. And what I'll do, I'm in contact with Apple because she's a friend. So I've got my line on the computer and there's people I'm in contact and Apple's one of them. And I'll just ask her, what's your number in Thailand? And this guy's coming in. And she's really reliable. So you don't need to worry. If you fly into Bangkok, you think, oh, what if she's not there? What if I can't? I mean, there's thousands of taxis there anyways, so you're not going to be stranded there. But she's really, really good. If she says, she might say to you, go up to the departures to be picked up or meet me in this place. But if she says she's going to be there, she's going to be there. And she speaks English and she's a nice girl. But don't try touching her up in the cab. She's not like that, honestly. She told me a few stories because I've known her quite a while now. But she told me a few stories. There was one. No, I'm not going to tell you because she asked me not to tell you. All right, let's not go there. But anyway, I've responded to that. Right, Black Bolt. Ed Sweeney had enough of Pattaya. Times have changed. No, I know where he's coming from. I know where he's coming from because he was saying he's gone up. I spoke to him today, so he's gone up to. Ed's gone up to Bangkok. I don't know whether he said today or tomorrow for 5 days, and then he's going to trot on somewhere else. And hopefully he'll contact me then so that we can do a stream together. The last one was 5 hours long. It's not going to be 5 hours next time. But no, I know where he's coming from, Black Bolt, because, when I first started going to Pattaya, I was like 31, 32. It was a party town. I thought I'd died and landed in heaven. You know what it's like the first time you go there. But it can you know, it can wear off. And you know, I was down there and I went out with Trevor, and I had a good time, but it's not my number one. It's not my number one agenda when I go to Thailand now, Pattaya. It's not. It's just not. I suppose it's an age thing, right? Scott, Peter, would you ever consider interviewing some of your regular subscribers? Like, what brought them to Thailand? Their experience? Yeah, definitely, Scott. Definitely. I've got to be careful though. I've got to talk to them first because there's nutters out there, aren't there? You know, I can just. Dutch Frank, nice to see you. I mentioned you earlier. I said I hadn't seen you in the stream, so I'm glad you're in tonight. We're just waiting for Danish Bacon now. He hasn't been in. Right. Scott, yeah, I mean, what I normally do, the way I handle it is if I see someone interested, like Katie, you know, the American lady, I emailed her, she came on, and then we did a stream like this where she was on one half, I was on the other, but I put it out as a private stream so nobody could see it. And I just talked to her and I get a feel for her, you know, because you know, I might get a guy who I think, yeah, he'd be great to do a stream with, and he comes on and he starts being racist and slating everybody and, you know, slating other YouTubers. Well, I can't have that. So what I like to do is talk to them first, get a feel for them, say, yeah, I think this guy's okay, then bring him on. Is there anyone you were thinking of in particular? Are you, Scott, are you in Thailand? Do you live in Thailand? Are you a teacher out there or something? If you live out there and you've been out there for a number of years and you want to come on the stream for 20 minutes and tell everyone about yourself, yeah, you know, contact me and we'll do something. Definitely. I mean, that's what makes a stream interesting. I mean, it's all very well me sitting here talking nonsense, but you know, if I can get people on here who are more interesting, then it's going to be more good for them as well, isn't it? Right. Asif, is it Ashif? I won't even try to pronounce it a second now. Hi, Peter. How you doing? Yeah, good to see you in, mate. Glad you're here. Dave Berry, hi from Canada. Right. Let me see what Mike's saying here. There is another YouTuber already who exclusively interviews ladyboys. I stumbled across it a few weeks back. Yeah, okay. There's other YouTubers that make videos in Pattaya, but I made videos in Pattaya and I think they were quite interesting. I don't think it's everyone's got a different perspective. Now, the guy who interviews ladyboys, is he a ladyboy? Not a ladyboy, but is he into ladyboys? Like if his chosen partner is ladyboys, then he might conduct his interviews in a certain way. I'm not somebody who's into ladyboys. Got nothing against them, but they're just, you know, I'm not single anyway. But if I was, they wouldn't be attractive to me. But everybody's got their own way of doing things, and you know, you've just told me that I've never seen his interviews, so I would presume there's a lot of people on this channel who've never seen him. So if I do it, then it might be different, mightn't it? So that doesn't put me off. Right, let's get down to some of the more recent comments. Yeah, Shane, you were listening to the story earlier. Yeah, I mean, it's a slow, long process, but this is the UK. You've got to suck it up, and that day will come. And you know, I'll still have my house, and I'll get some nice people in there, and he'll be out on the street like an idiot. So anyway, right, Jason, good for you moving to Thailand. I hope it all goes well for you, and hopefully I will meet you there when I move. Yeah, I mean, I keep saying, guys, if you're ever, I met a lot of people when I was out there. It was really strange for me because I did this for 2 years in the UK. There's only one person, that's Frankel, who's moderating tonight. He's the only guy who's ever recognized me in the UK. And when I went out to Thailand, I had quite a lot of people come up, especially in Pattaya when I was out with Trevor. You know, and people were quite nice. They came up. Nobody sort of said anything nasty. Not to my face anyway, maybe behind my back. But yeah, I mean, I'm quite an approachable guy. You know, I mean, if I told you about the idiot who invited me for lunch. He's a viewer. He invited me for lunch and then he threw 100 baht at me and said, that's towards your lunch. You know, I shan't be meeting him again. But no. And the other thing is on that, Jason, you know, I'm 62. People sort of said to me, I mentioned this before as well. People said to me, oh, what the heck are you doing? You know, 62, you're in the twilight of your life. You got to think about all the illnesses and, you know, you could have a heart attack and what. And I'm like, for God's sake, you know, I'm 62. I'm not 92. And if I have a heart attack there, I'll probably have it here anyway. So, you know, and I might not have a heart attack for 20 years. I don't think I will anyway. I'm on statins. And the answer to that is there's always somebody with a negative. If you say something, there's always somebody that comes back with a negative reaction. And most of the time I've got an answer for them. I'll give you a good example here. Some guy came and he says, oh, you know, when you go out to Thailand, you're getting older now you'll start to get sick and, you know, it starts to get expensive medicine and all this. And I said, don't worry about it, mate, because I'm going with a very, very good insurance company, a company called, Christ, I can't remember the name of it, Pacific Cross. Yeah. I've looked at various insurance companies, AXA, Pacific Cross, and they seem to be the best. And then, of course, he had to come back with a negative. So he said, well, you're 62. When they get to 75, they won't insure you anymore. I'd already looked into that. They give you lifetime policy at Pacific Cross. So as long as you're with them before you're 65, they don't knock you off when you get to 75. You keep going. And that's one of the reasons why I'm going with them. And I can get up to, how much was the cover now? It's a lot. You know, I've opted for no outpatients, because when outpatients, maybe you'll get food poisoning. You've got to go and see a doctor and get antibiotics. You're talking, 1,800 baht, 1,500 baht. I'll pay that out of my pocket. Okay, you break your leg, you go to hospital, you get it fixed in your insurance, but you've got to go back to have your plaster changed. How many times? I don't know. Twice, 3 times. How much is that going to cost? 10,000 baht. So if you don't have the outpatients on the insurance, that reduces it by about 20%. That makes a big difference. And then if you pay, I think I've opted to pay the first, it's about £2,000. That's a lot, but it brings the policy down by another 32.5%. So I've got a policy that would cost something like 85,000 baht a month, and I'll get it for half of that, and it covers everything. I'm talking, cancer, kidney disease, prostate, everything. Heart attack. They'll pick me up and take me to a hospital. There's no limit on the daily, how much the bills are in the hospitals. And anyway, let's move on from that one. Right. Herbie Hine. Maybe you should be more forgiving about mental health issue, man. Have I mentioned mental health today? I haven't said anything about mental health, have I? Right, let's explore Bangkok 2023. Thailand bound, offer him money to leave, save 5K. Okay. I don't know what that one means. Ting Tong Tai. Peter, get a few boys to give him. I will visit. I think you mean lady boys there, right? Is it beer time yet? What time is it? How long wait for? Oh, it is beer time. Guys, I've got something to keep you entertained for a minute, because I'm going to get the beers, else they'll be frozen. Let me put this up. I'll be back in 1 minute. I'm going to get the beers. They're not Kronenbergs. Now let me see if I can find this. It's quite funny. Hang on. Right. Have a look at this while I'm getting the beers. All right, have you had time to read them? Hold on, I thought that was quite humorous, better than a blank card. Okay, so 457 in now. Good. I wonder if we'll get up to 5. We got up to 520 last week. I wonder if we'll get to 500 again. Yeah, so I said to my wife, she's, my wife's from Korea. I said to her, can you get me some beers? Because I wasn't going out today. And I forgot to say to her, get Kronenberg. So she went to Aldi and she got, I've never heard of these. These are an Ed Sweeney special, like, 12 for 22 pence, and you get change. No, they're Pilsner. They say Pilsner. I don't know. They seem to be okay. But the thing is, I always put a bit of lemonade on the top, so I don't really, the taste really sort of disappears then, does it? They're all the same. So let me just pour this. That's another thing. When I was telling you just now about these guys who said, "Oh, you sure you should be going to Thailand at 62? It's, you should be, you're getting old, you might get sick and all that sort of thing." One guy wrote to me, he said, "I'm really worried about you, Peter. Every Friday when I watch you on the stream, you drink at least 2 beers." And he was calculating the units for me, and he was saying, "Have you had your liver checked?" And some people, they live they must live a very worrying life, you know. I mean, I'm not cavalier. I don't smoke. I don't like do. That wasn't a dig at you, Damien, by the way. I don't do too many unhealthy things, but I do like a beer. Right. Let me see if I can find somebody who I haven't said hello to. Right. That's quite a new one. Doggy, is it? Dog K? Yeah. Life in Europe is miserable these last years. I totally agree with that, Peter. Yeah, you feel different when you go out to Thailand as well, doesn't it? I mean, people say, oh, why did you go to Thailand? They treat you like crap over there and they try and scam you and all the rest of it. But it's no different in the UK, is it? Damien, looking forward to you getting out to Thailand full time. Then we can, have an interview in your village in Buriram. Oh, I got a gruesome story about that happened in Buriram. You just reminded me, Damien. Right. Listen to this. I wasn't sure whether to tell this story or not. This happened in Buriram, but this will make your eyes water, Damien. Listen to this. So the title of this is Woman, and I've changed it to the words to be a little bit more polite for YouTube, but you'll get the drift, right? So it says, woman allegedly stabs husband's member with a harpoon after heated argument. And the word I've changed to be more polite is his member, okay? A woman allegedly stabbed her husband's member with a harpoon after a heated argument. The media reports that the woman stabbed him in the genitals and twisted the spear just like catching a fish. The man drove a motorbike to his mother's house and went to the hospital the next day, where he got more than 17 stitches. The reporter interviewed the husband and wife in the northeastern province of Buriram. The 45-year-old husband was staying at his mother's house, saying he was scared that his wife would hurt him again. The 43-year-old wife told reporters that she was still angry and that her husband would pick fights with her when he was drunk. She reportedly claimed that the husband strangled her neck first, and then she grabbed a harpoon. Neighbors also told reporters that the couples would often get into fights. So it sounds like a perfect marriage, doesn't it? Strangulation and harpoons. But there you go. I thought you'd appreciate that one. Okay, who else we got in now? Let's have a look. Del Boy, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in tonight. Peter, you choose to have a routine. It will just be a different one in Thailand. Yeah, but it's more than a routine in Thailand because there's more to do. I'm going to live in Bangkok because my channel is going to be. I can't add anything to the table in Pattaya. I haven't even had a sip of this yet. Hang on, let me have a sip of this. Fly or something on the side there. Right, cheers, guys. I got that out. Oh, brain freeze. I got that out just in time. It's actually got crystals in it. Oh, blimey. That's cold. You know what brain freeze is, don't you? Oh, I've got it there now as well. Yeah, it's gone right down there. It's really cold. Right, yeah. I mean, the thing is, I'm going to be in Bangkok, so there's just more to do, isn't it? It's more vibrant. I'm going to live somewhere. I'm going to be a typical live in a Phalang ghetto. I'm going to live between Soi 3 and Asok, somewhere along there. One of them soys down there. I'm going to get somewhere really cheap to start with. I actually found an apartment in Soi 8 when I was there. And it was a nice apartment, 20,000 baht a month. I'm not saying they booked and held this apartment for me. It's an apartment block. They have 3 bedroom, 2 bedrooms. And I wandered down there and I went in and I had a look at a few different blocks. And I found this apartment is great, 20,000 baht a month. So you've got security, beautiful, beautiful, long pool on the roof, really long. Crappy little gym, but I'd join a nice gym on Sukhumvit. But it was nice. You walk in, had a nice big spacious lounge. There was a kitchen area over here. Go right into the bedroom there. It had a shower room, even had a little safe in the wall, washing machine as well, and a little balcony. 20,000 baht a month. That's like £500 a month in the heart of Sukhumvit. And I said to the guy, I says, how much you got to be careful with the electricity, guys, because that's where they catch you. Because I said to him, how much is the unit price? And really unbelievably, he said, well, you just pay the government price. I think it was 3,500 baht. Because what a lot of landlords do, especially with foreigners, they'll show you an apartment, 20,000 baht, and you think, oh, that's good value. You take it on, but what they do, they're charging 9 baht a unit on the electricity, when actually it's 3.5 baht per unit with the government. Now that doesn't sound a lot, 5 baht a unit, but don't forget, over a month you have to have the aircon on to sleep all night. When I had my apartment in Bangkok, what I used to do is in the daytime I'd have the windows open because it was high. I think it was on the 67th floor in my last apartment, and I had the windows up in the day. I just wear a pair of shorts, no underwear, completely naked apart from a pair of shorts, and then all the windows open, and I'd have fans everywhere, and that was a lot cheaper. But of course, if I wasn't going out that evening, once we had dinner and it got to kind of like 6:30, 7 o'clock, you'd shut everything up. You had to anyway because of mosquitoes. You'd shut everything up. You'd whack on the old aircon quite high to bring it down, and then it'd settle down. You bring it right down. But you had it on. I had it on from maybe 7 in the evening, and then I had kids. They had to have it in their room and our room, and so you can use a hell of a lot of electricity. So if you go to live in Thailand and you find a cheap apartment, just make sure you really do find out how much that electricity is per unit, because it can work out nearly as much as a rent if you're not careful, if you get a cheap place. Okay, so let's go back onto these comments. Richard, how are you doing? Anyone interested in a 3-bed, here we go. What's this? Facebook Marketplace? This will cost you, Richard. No, I don't mind. Anyone interested in a 3-bed, 3-bath detached villa in Pattaya, cost 6 million baht, would sell for 4 million, owned in a company name. Put your email address up. Put your email address in the comments, Richard. I'll leave it up for a minute or so. If someone is, then they can contact you. You can send them a link to photographs or whatever. I'm not going to turn this into a what do you call it? An advertising place, but I don't mind helping you out because I know you're in every week, and it's a genuine thing. Just give me your email address. I hope I don't miss it, and I'll put it up. Right, Andy Broken Dreams. Where's that go? Hi, Mucker. Yeah, how you doing? Right, Jeff Sullivan. I'm moving there then. Mark. Yeah, don't forget when you move out there, guys, you've got to think about what kind of visa you're going to be on. I'm going to be on a work permit. I'm getting all that arranged as we speak because I'm going to be doing some work, basically. Let me just say hi to Dave. Dave, that is extremely generous of you, mate. I never ask for money. I never hint at money or anything. And I do, you guys kind of look after me. I do appreciate it, but that's a very generous one. So thank you, Dave. I think that's your second one as well, Dave. Blimey. Right, as I said to you last week, and I remember this now, if I said to you last week, if we meet up, I'm buying the first 2 beers. But now, if we meet up, I'm buying the first 3 beers and I'll buy you dinner, okay? On a food cart on the street. No, I'm only joking. I've got a video coming out next Sunday about food and drinks and the cost of ladies' drinks and bar. Let me tell you a little bit about that video, because the old hands won't be interested in it. The guys have got their stripes now for Thailand. But there is guys on this channel who intend to go out to Thailand. They've never been out. And one of the biggest questions that have come on the channel, I've never been able to answer it. They'll say, look, I'm going on holiday vacation for 2 weeks. How much money do I need? Well, how can you answer that? Let me just say hi to this super chat and I'll tell you about that. James, do you think this year would be a good year for Elite Pass or 2023? I might be interested in the villa. Just quickly, James, so I don't forget what I was talking about then. I think I forgot already. Blimey, I forgot what I was talking about. James, any time's a good time to get the Thailand pass, but it's damn expensive, but you get a long time on the visa, don't you? Guys, what was I talking about? This is a problem when you get old. You go off subject and you forget. Dave Andrews sent me 50 quid. Enjoying stream. It's gone. Let me just see if somebody can remind me. Oh dear, never mind. I hope it'll come back to me. What was I talking about? This is, when you get old, you get a really bad memory. This is a trouble. I've got to just try and concentrate on one thing at a time. Right, I hope that comes back to me. Gary Russell, hi Pete. I go out to Thailand. I have to go to hospital for. I don't know. That sounds wicked. I don't know what it is. I can't read it. 3 times a week, 4 hours, still gone on. What the hell is that? Hemo? I'll look that up afterwards. But I'm not envious of you, mate. Good luck with that. David May, you're getting around Black Bolt. Okay, Dave, you've obviously seen Black Bolt in another stream there. Right, Peter. I never thought you were a cheap Charlie. No, I'm not. No, I'm not a cheap Charlie, Dave. But I'm going out there. I'm going out there to live, and well, that's what I was talking about, the apartment, wasn't I? So I've decided not to go for that apartment now, and the reason being is because I'm going out. I've got the YouTube channel. I make a bit of money on this now. Obviously I get some money from Google now because I've got quite a lot of subscribers now, unbelievably, and it's still unbelievable. But I'm going to do some work out there with Simon, as I mentioned it before, but. I just don't want to risk like doing all this and not having a work permit because they're quite hot on it now. And that's what I was talking to you about. So it's come back to me now. So if you are going out there, you've got to think about your visa. What kind of visa you're going to be going on? A retirement visa's pretty easy to get. I'll give you a hint here, guys. You don't need to put 800,000 in the bank, right? All this stuff. An agent will do all that for you. I can't give you too many details here, but there's a lot of agents in Bangkok, in Pattaya. You'll pay £1,000. It'll all get done for you. No hassles. That's what I do, and everyone I know does. Right. Yeah, okay, 21 freedom there. Right. I missed the intermission. You didn't miss much. It was just what bar girls think of us. Right. Does that Big Bass, does that include electric? You're talking about the rent, right? No, it doesn't. That's why I was saying earlier on, it's so important in Thailand, the electricity, the aircon and everything. When you go to view an apartment and the landlord says, well, it's 7,000 baht a month in Hua Hin, you think that's great. That's a great deal. I'm only paying £150 a month. Check how much the unit is. The government unit's 3.5 baht. If you can get it for that, that's great. But you probably won't get it for that because you're a foreigner and you can pay more. But if it's sort of like 6 baht or under, then 5.5 baht, it's okay. But if the guy says 8.5, 9 baht, forget it. He's ripping you off. Right. Mark, can I crash at your gaff, Pete, in Bangkok? I'll supply the entertainment. Okay, Mark, I'll keep that open. I'll keep the invite open. Okay, I am Joy. Is this going to be a good one or not? Right, would recommend Singbank old vaccine dead virus technologies we have used for measles. Decades, no after effect, mentally. Okay, all right, I'll leave it up there for a while. I'm not going to get into that. All right, what else we got here? Did you put your email address up there, Richard? I don't see it yet. Right, Welsh 32. I'd be on try and find me in the middle of the jungle. Visa is free and no monthly check. Okay, yeah, I like your picture. Is that the Dirty Dozen? Is it there with? Is it Hank Marvin? Right, Tom Young going again. Here's a shocker. I don't like bars, so I don't monger in the traditional sense. Weird but true. More of street safari sort, I suppose. You know what? That's not unusual. I mean, it's not like everybody who goes to Thailand loves the bars. I mean, I like a lot more than just the bars. I don't go to Thailand just for the bars. I mean, they're great fun. People kind of like have a go at you. Well, there's one guy. I blocked him now because he's so derogatory. But he used to be a regular on this channel, and I had a few fallouts with him last year because he'd leave some. You know, I thought he was an okay guy because he was on the streams every month and every week. But every now and again, he'd leave a comment which was a bit borderline, like, "Are you being a bit shitty with me, mate, or not?" But I give him the benefit of the doubt. And, you know, one time he came on, I said, look, I realize you're okay. And I mean, some of the things you say are a bit close to the bone, but, you know, you're all right. And I'll put up with it. And then I was really disappointed because he came on here and he said something like, yeah, I like the channel, but I'm not into the bars. And he had a go at me because he said, well, as soon as you came out, when you landed in Thailand, you went to the quarantine for your first night. As soon as you came out of quarantine, you went straight to Nana Plaza. And I was like, yeah, well, why shouldn't I? I haven't been to Thailand for 2 years. So if I want to go to Nana Plaza and sit there and drink and look around, why shouldn't I? And he seemed to think I was doing something wrong. Wes, have you just come in? Because I did put your picture up earlier. I've got it here. I'll prove it to you. I will in a minute because I don't want to go off subject. But this guy, he went on to Bangkok. Pat, remember I told you earlier that when Pat interviewed me, because of the kind of viewer he's got, people came on and they were like disgusted that he had me on there. You know, a real kind of girly bar. You know, that's all I talk about, sort of thing. And he left a comment on there and he said, yeah, he should call his channel Monger Inbound because that's all he talks about. And then I just blocked him. I thought, you know, anyway, right. Wes, I did mention you. I'll stick your photograph up again, just so you know I'm not lying, because I said you were in you're in the stream quite a lot. I don't know if you've seen it, but there you go. Look, happy days out with the family. I'm another slurp on this. Right. Okay. Let's do. Have I done it? One more left. Let's have a look at this. Self-explanatory. All right. They're quite funny, aren't they? Let me get the. I'm just looking for my logo. I had to take that off, didn't I? There you go. Back on there now. Right. Okay. So how many have we got in now? Not quite 500 guys. We're 29 short. 520 last week. I was really amazed. You know, do you remember that when I first went to Thailand and I woke up at 3 a.m. I did that stream. The quality was so bad, you know, but you guys, you hung on. I had 900 people in the stream. I was amazed. 900. Right. Oh, okay. So you're telling me where's what? Okay. That's the word treatment 9. I'm still confused. What is treatment 9? You're explaining that word that I can't even pronounce. I don't know what it is. I said, I'll look it up. And you've explained it's treatment 9. Wes, I don't know what treatment 9 is, mate. What is it? Is it an Australian thing? I've never heard of it. Oh, okay. Right, Richard. Dialysis is blood cleaner. I know exactly what that is. And I don't envy you at all. So I know that you have to go to a special unit 3 times a week. You get hooked onto a machine and they clean your blood. And it must be terrible, absolutely terrible. So good luck with that. And I mean that. Okay, Javier, a bit late in. Nice to see you though. Peter, you are talking about the money you need for 2 weeks. Great. Thank you, Javier. Brilliant. Yes, exactly. All right. So this is what happens, you see. I'm talking about something and I know what I'm going to say. Christ, that's hot. And then I'll do a super chat. I think in the future, if somebody gives a super chat, I'll just put it up on screen so don't forget. And then I'll leave it there and then talk about it later. But Javier, you're right. I nearly forgot again. Right. Thank you, Javier. You're a star. So for about over 2 years I've done this channel, something that I haven't been able to answer. People are right and they say, look, I'm going to Thailand for 2 weeks. I've never been before. Or I'm going to Thailand for 3 weeks. I've never been before. How much money do I need? Now, we're not talking about his hotel because that's all done before you leave, isn't it? So you bought your flight ticket. You got all that in your bin. You've paid for your hotel, your main hotel. You might nip down to Pattaya, I don't know. But you've paid all that. So what they're talking about, drinks, food, girls, whatever. And I've always said, well, you can't answer it. It's an impossible question because you've got one guy who'll go and stay in a 5-star hotel and he'll take a girl out of a bar every single night. And you've got another guy who'll stay in a budget hotel and he'll go trekking every day and he'll eat on food carts. So how can you do a budget? So what I've actually figured a way to do it. So what I've done, and I've always been very reluctant to talk about the real sort of prices of girls. And I've done it this time. I've manned up, And so what I've done 3 separate budgets. So I said, right, if you're a budget, so I've gone through everything. I've done budget traveler, mid-price traveler, high-end traveler. So in other words, if you're a budget traveler, you're going to stay in a budget hotel, 1,000 baht a night. You're going to eat in a Thai restaurant or a cheapish Falang restaurant. You're going to maybe take a girl from a beer bar rather than a go-go bar. So I've done a budget for a budget traveler, medium traveler, high-end traveler. I've done the prices of drinks from 7-Eleven right through to Thai restaurant, right through to normal restaurants, alcoholic drinks, non-alcoholic drinks, food. And the girls, I've talked about the different bar fines, how much it costs, where you get them from, go-go bars or beer bars or out on the street freelancers. So that obviously there's no bar fine for freelancers, but I talk a little bit about that. I've also talked about what long time and short time is. I've also talked about the prices you'll expect to pay if you engage the company of these girls, whether she's on the street, whether she's in a beer bar, or whether she's in a go-go bar and she's real hot, how much they'll ask for, how much you'll charge. The only thing I've done in the video, I've had to word it nicely for YouTube. So I've kind of said, look, if you bar fine her and take her for a game of pool or you take her for dinner, because I can't be too much like that. So that'll probably come out. I've got the Brian Flowers one this Sunday, so I'll probably bring that out the following Sunday. So if you haven't been to Thailand before, that'll be interesting for you. If you have been, ignore everything I've said. Right, Black Bolt, you talking to someone else? Yes, I am today, David May. Okay. Right, Canary spreads his wings. You were talking about the 2-week millionaire. Would you need? Yeah, okay. Not necessarily. I'll just explain that. So not necessarily the 2-week millionaire, but how much you would need, for the 2 weeks. Right, Pattaya Pariah. You've got that software, haven't you? Where you put, I can still recognize you, but you've got that software where you can do things because that's you. You don't look like that in real life, but I can still see your features. Right. Will you be parking the Popoys in Pattaya now that you've separated from your wife? That word's kind of a little bit complicated for me. I'm not sure what that means, but I do. I know what you mean. No, I've grown out of Pattaya. I've been going to Pattaya for 30 years. I lived in Pattaya on Soi. I think it was Soi 1. You know where the dolphin roundabout is on the second road? And you turn down towards the beach. There's a beach in front of you. Turn left. The first Soi, there's a little hotel there. I forget the name of it. I lived there for a few years. I got bored with it. Then I went up to Bangkok. I had different addresses there. But Pattaya is okay if you go for a month or 2 months, maybe max. The guys live there. They swear by it. But I'm kind of, it's a bit too much for me now. I prefer Bangkok. It's much more cosmopolitan. And there's a lot more to do. And Patty's okay for a weekend, isn't it? But it's just, I've kind of grown out of it. And when you go back, I hope you make some more videos because your videos are really, really good, really good. And I mean that. I'm not just saying that because you're here. I just like your whole philosophy and your outlook on life. talking about the Gus, especially when you say you don't care what anybody thinks about being a Monger. Right, JB. Peter, who is your guilty crush? Mine is apparently swimmer Rebecca. Oh, okay. So who's your guilty crush? So you're talking about the swimmer Rebecca Adlington. I used to watch every Olympics in case. Me, they've changed over the years. I used to like, the tennis player Venus. Is that her name? She's got a twin sister. I had a thing for her for a while, but that's gone now. If you're English and you're as old as me, do you remember Felicity Kendall from The Good Life? Her. Who else? I don't know if I drank too much that day, but I kind of Priti Patel. That's not very good, is it? Who else? They come and go. They come and go. Shouldn't have answered that, should I? I'm going to get in trouble now. Right, Lou Bartlett. I know it's a topic which could cause some controversy, but I choose not to have the vaccine. Would anyone have an idea when unvaccinated people could travel without any testing or quarantine? I don't think you'll ever be able to go to Thailand ever without jumping through hoops if you haven't got the vaccine. I'm not going to try and lecture you why you should have it, because you've obviously made a conscious decision why you don't want it, and it doesn't mean you're wrong and I'm right. It's just that I've made a decision to have those vaccinations. I've had 3 now, but it just makes life a lot easier when you're traveling. The day will come when you've just got to have 2 vaccines and your 72-hour PCR test to go. But the last time they were letting people, I'm not sure what they're doing now because I haven't looked into it recently, not unvaccinated. But the last time I looked into it, you would have to do a 10-day quarantine when you arrived in Thailand. I don't think the day will ever come where you're not vaccinated at all and they just welcome you in and you can mix with the population. I really don't. My first question would be, well, why not? But I'm not going to come out with that because, like you say, it's controversial. You've obviously made the decision. It's your body. Me, I made the decision to have it, and we'll leave it at that. Right, Lou. Okay, we've just done that one. Paul Shackleton, digital nomad visa. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Paul. You're talking about when I go out there? Yeah. Right, some of you guys are talking to each other. Yeah, that's the question. So a lot of you guys will remind me. So I just happened to pick up on Javir's there. So thanks, guys, for reminding me. Right, what should we talk about now? Still haven't got 500 in yet, but it's good to see 468, and I'm doing better than some people. It's not a competition. I'm just stating a fact there. Right, Roger. He spelled it wrong. Probably has to be on a dialect. Yeah, but I'm not the best speller in the world either, Roger. It's not important, is it? I mean, people have a go at me how I say Pattaya, and I found myself now, sometimes I say Pattaya, sometimes I say Pattaya, and some people write in and say, listen to the song. That's how you should pronounce it. But does it really matter as long as you know what I'm talking about? Taxi Talal. I'm fairly sure landlords charge the Thais more than the government rate too. I know someone who confirmed that. Yeah, you're probably right. I'm not saying, I'm not saying they don't, but obviously I'm not Thai, so I don't know. Dutch Falang, yeah, of course you do. I come from the beach. All right. Oh, okay, yeah. Was Robert Ryan, not Lee Marvin? Yeah, Lee Marvin. What was he in? Christ, I tell you what, it's true. When you get older, your mind just, you get so forgetful. Lee Marvin. What was it? Was he in Paint My Wagon? Do you remember that? Where he bloody awful singer, good actor, but couldn't sing to save his life. Lee Marvin. He was in all the spaghetti westerns, wasn't he? No name. Peter, when will you and Simon's websites and services go? To be honest, I'm waiting for Simon now. We've had a lot of discussions. Simon's got a big contract on with the Thai army at the moment. He's got he's winding down his factory because he wants to do something else. So he wants to move on. He's been doing that quite a few years, 12 years, I think. And they convert shipping containers into toilet blocks, classrooms, that sort of thing, accommodation. But the problem is now containers have just gone through the roof. I think he was telling me that he used to pay 60,000 baht for a container that came from China, 70,000 baht. And there's something, they've gone up to kind of nearly double now. So it's not the best business in the world to be in. But Simon and I have kind of thrashed it all out, what we want to do. We can both bring different things to the table. Simon's going to do a lot of the back end work. And I'll do a lot of the front end interviews and things like that. He'll do a website. But in answer to your question, I don't know. It's in Simon's hands now. We've discussed it. He knows what he's got to do. I don't want to pester him. If he doesn't come back to me, then it'll be never. If he does come back to me, then we'll do something sooner than later, as it were. Mike Jones, I'm only going for the temples. Yeah, I know you are. We've got a bit of a thing going on here now. Yeah, Taxi Talal. Yeah, I agree with that. You talk about the guy who didn't have his vaccines. It's very easy to judge, isn't it, and start lecturing. But, yeah, let's leave it at that. Right, okay. Mr. Maru 555. I love a good night out in Pattaya, but I never go with bar girls. I'm definitely in the minority, but there are guys like us, though. There's no sort of gold standard for Pattaya. The good thing about Pattaya, you're not really judged, are you? And the way I look at it, as long as you're not hurting anybody or you're not doing anything illegal, why can't you do what you want? If you want to go to Pattaya and enjoy the nightlife, but you don't want to go with a bar girl back to your hotel, that's fine. It's your money. You're spending what you want. As long as you're having a good time, you're not hurting anybody, no problem. On the other hand, you get a lot of guys go out there, they want to get through bar girls like they do, Skittles. That's up to them, isn't it? Again, if they don't hurt anybody, then fine. Everybody each to his own. There's nothing to be, no problem. Martin Ryder says, you don't go to Thailand to read the Bible and eat turnips. Who says, Martin? Who says? Right, Gordon from Canberra. Yeah, how you doing, Gordon? Nice to see you in the stream. Dutch Verlang again. Hi, he is right. You should not have gone straight to Nana, but soy 6. Yeah, you're talking about the guy who said, oh yeah, but you went straight to Nana Plant. Yeah, soy 6 is in, you're talking about Pattaya though, aren't you? All right. Right, Moist Manic. I was playing inflated power in my last, so my Joe that I'm paying the gov is half. Oh, okay. So you talk. God, this. You know what? I'm bending down here. I got a space here, and it gets cold. I put it on, but it's really gets hot really quick. Right. I was paying inflated. Okay, I got you. You were talking about the electric now. I was paying inflated power in my last. My Joe that I'm paying the gov is half the price. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. You've just confirmed the fact. So, what do I call you, Moist? Okay, this comment. What he's saying is, he's paying half of what his overall monthly costs on his apartment because he's now paying the government rent. A lot of guys really they don't think of that. They go out there and they look at apartments and they find an apartment and think, great deal, got a good deal. But what they don't realize, they're paying $9 a unit and they're paying double what the rent is. With that, I think it's time for, I'm going to reintroduce Joke of the Week. Now, normally when I do Joke of the Week, someone will say, oh, that's a Peter Kay joke, or that's a Bernard Manning joke, or that's, of course they are. They're not my jokes. I'm not a comedian, am I? I'm just reading it out. So, but we'll do Joke of the Week and then we'll come back to the comments, okay? So, it was funny with it had swearing in it. It was funny. I had to get rid of that, obviously. Right, let me just get this ready. Where are we? I'm smiling because I know it's quite a funny joke. Hang on. I'm looking for... Where is he? There we are. Right, okay. Right, Joke of the Week. And I'm going to do one of these every week, guys. And if you've got a Joke of the Week, you're welcome to tell it. Right, Joke of the Week. A man says to his wife, pack your bags. I've won the lottery. She says, what should I pack? Something light, something warm. Where are we going? He says, we're going nowhere. Just pack your bags and clear out. There we go, liven up your Friday night a bit. When I actually rehearsed that, when I did that this afternoon, I thought it was quite funny, actually, quite good, but it kind of didn't come out quite as good as I thought it would. But yeah, if you like the Joke of the Week, let me know and I'll do another one next week. And if you've got any that aren't too corny, send them in, I'll read them out, okay? Still got a smile on my face. I love that music. It's so, you could be depressed, listen to that, and you'll be like, hey, let's go out there. Right, Dave Andrew. If visitors go maybe to Pattaya or Bangkok and stay 1 month, is condo or hotel better if you take company? Don't worry about the condo, Dave. It doesn't matter. It's Thailand. That's not. They don't care about that. What they care about is money, right? The only thing you have to check is, are you going to charge me to bring company, or do I pay the same rate as I pay myself? They're not going to say you can't take company. Believe me. Right. If you're going for a month, I've got a friend who goes for a month, and what he swears by. He says serviced apartments. There must be websites out there. I've never stayed in a service apartment. But what he does, it's like a hotel, but it's a cheaper rate because you're committing to a month or 2 months, and it's like a hotel room, and they come and clean it every day and give you towels, and it's just like a hotel room. But it's a service department because you're not checking in for a week or 3 days, so they give you a good rate. So that might be the way to go for you. George Colley, thanks. Great cartoon, yeah. Right. Stephen, have you noticed any positive or negative effects from being on statins? Yeah, positive, really. I spoke to somebody about this tonight. I'm not going to get too medical here, but if you're an older guy, from my point of view, I would say, I'm not a doctor, I haven't got any medical advice, but I would recommend, go on them. I'll tell you what happened in my case. When you go in the UK, when you're over 50, they invite you for certain checkups, kidney, liver, blood, all that sort of thing. And a lot of guys will say, sorry, I feel great, I'm not going to go. But I always go because it doesn't cost you anything, and I like to know, and I don't really worry because nowadays modern medicine is quite, it's very good, isn't it? So I got an invite to go in and check my cholesterol. Now, your cholesterol should be 5 or under. Anything over sort of 5, 6, it gets quite dangerous the higher the number. And I'm not talking like 10, 12. I'm talking just 1 or 2. So I went for a blood check. I went for the results, and they told me that my cholesterol was 7.5. That is dangerous. We're talking heart attack city, 7.5. I could have keeled over any time. Doctor put me straight on statins. I went about a month later, I had another blood check. I'd come right down to 5. Now, I've been on these statins 20 years. I went 2 months ago for a full check again because they invited me. And my cholesterol is 4.5. Now, a lot of that is because I lost a lot of weight, didn't I? I lost 22 kilos. And to be fair, I've actually put 5 kilos back on. And it's not because I'm lazy or I'm overeating. I'm in England. In the summer, I lost the weight. It's now winter. You tend to eat more because it's cold. And sometimes I can't walk because it's raining. But in answer to your question, I've read that you can get side effects from statins. I've never had any side effects. No, seriously, I've never had any side effects. So my cholesterol's down. I'm not worried about having a heart attack. So I suppose you just have to make that decision for yourself. What else? Spider 0064. I love the buzz of the place, Pattaya or Bangkok. It's not all about the bars as much as I like them. All the talk about the Gogo's not opening. I still love my visit late December, going back later this month. Yeah, well, I was there. That's when I went over late December, and I know what you mean. I had a good time. The bars were good. You know what I like about the Gogo bars is you might think this is a stupid thing to say. The aircon, honestly, when you're out in Pattaya, as I remember from the old days, well, I was there last month or month before, but when I was really into it, you'd be going around all these beer bars. It's 38 degrees. Even at night, it's hot. You're sweaty. And after a couple of hours, you just feel sticky and dirty. And you go to walk, you go to somewhere like the Windmill, a Happier Go-Go, something like that, and the aircon's really strong. You have one beer in there and you're cool, right? It's almost like a boiling kettle comes down, and you're sitting there doing this, and they come up with a pie, the cloths, and they wipe you down, and you come out all ready to start again. So I hear what you're saying, each to his own, but I got to be honest, I like the Go-Go bars. Story out to you. So it says, Thailand's tourism authority aims to attract 10 million foreign tourists in 2022 with India as a leading focus. The Chinese government still insists on its zero COVID policy, closing international borders and prohibiting its people from traveling overseas in tour groups, a popular way to travel. Long quarantines are required to return to China. TAT had set a goal for a number of tourists in the short-term market, mostly nearby countries who generally travel for short trips with short flight times at around 5 million people, of which the biggest at 1.5 million would be Indian tourists, following the cabinet's approval of the Thai-India air travel bubble. About 12 airlines had agreed to participate in the government's campaign. According to TAT, it was estimated that the passenger load factor would be at 70% average. So there you go. They're trying to go for the Indian market now. Right. Oh no, you froze. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back with a vengeance. And yeah, we're still 359. That's good. Javier, no need to apologize, Peter. You pronounced my name right on. Okay, that's good. If you came back at me and you said, no, it's wrong, can you call me Javier? I'd find it really difficult because you're in every week and you get kind of used to calling people by different names, like Blockhead out there. He knows who he is. Right, let's find somebody I haven't said hello to yet. No, my old lady hasn't snuffed it. My Gruger horn. Okay, let me go down this. These are old comments here. Any questions, guys? Have you got anything you want to ask me about Thailand? If you haven't been before, or you want to? Okay, Pete. Oh, right. Dutch Flang, you got me again. You said Peter took a sneaky sip of the 35CL whiskey. I didn't. I should have done, actually. I've got it lined up for later. Yeah, they are. Look. But I'll probably have, because it's Friday, I'll probably have it to the bottom of the label. That's my kind of limit. You know, because it's Friday, I like a drop of whiskey. I don't drink it every night. Right. Hi, Andrew. Nice to see you in the stream again. Who else? Right. Crypto Rocketeer, Carol Vorderman, you are welcome, Peter. Everybody has a crush on her. And she never did it for me. Right, let's get this going now, guys. Right, somebody asked a question, said, is there anybody you had a crush on off the TV, off movies, anything like that? And I named mine. Somebody else named theirs. And Crypto Rocketeer says he had a crush on Carol Vorderman. So, no, I'll tell you what. This will make you laugh. Do you remember the Carry On films? My friend, and I'm not going to tell you who he is because you'll get embarrassed, but one of my friends, he had a crush, believe it or not, on Hattie Jakes. Do you remember Hattie Jakes? 747. He actually had a crush on her. He thought she was really sexy. Right, I am Joy. Javier is pronounced Javier. Obviously, you don't speak Spanish. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Espero que esté has tenido un viaje. Okay, move on. Right, world traveler for you. What do you think is a good alternative to Thailand for nightlife and girls? You know, there isn't really an alternative. There's other countries. I've been to a lot of southeastern countries. You've got the Philippines, Cambodia. There's nowhere like Thailand. You know, when you go to Pattaya, you've got go-go bars, beer bars, all that sort of thing. There isn't, as an alternative, okay, you can go to Cambodia. They've got places to go. The Philippines have got places to go. But I don't think there's anywhere as good as Thailand. It's got everything, hasn't it? I don't know, maybe a bit of research on YouTube or something. Right, Franco. Thailand band, please say thanks. Yeah, we did that one. Okay, so let's go down to some newer comments. Yeah, that's it, Richard. Ethernet cable. Yeah, I prefer to use the Wi-Fi, but when it goes, that it's more stable, this one. But I don't know why. For some reason, it's slower than the Wi-Fi, but it's more stable. I'm on that now, and I'm looking at the other screen that you guys are seeing, and I look clear, ugly but clear. Right. Glenn Hendricks just got in evening here, finished work in Toronto. Good to be having Glenn. We'll go for another 20 minutes or so. We had a bit of a freeze going on just there. Let me put that whiskey out the way. Right. And if you've just come into the stream, this is quite humorous. Let me put this on again because I'm going to pour another beer now, and I don't like doing it. And trying to talk at the same time. I'll put this on just for like literally 30 seconds, guys. Right. I'll tell you who never did it for me. I had a lot of friends when I was younger. Again, the Carry On films. Do you remember Barbara Windsor? A lot of guys had the hots for Barbara Windsor, didn't they? Never did anything for me. Nothing at all. All right. 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 Big Bass 255. Have you ever been to Koh Samui? I have been to Koh Samui, and I'm guessing it's very, very different. I can tell you because I was with my wife. It was a long time ago. I think it was 1998. In those days in Koh Samui, there wasn't a lot of nightlife, and we stayed in a kind of place on the beach. It was almost like a garden shed. It was a wooden kind of, they called it a bungalow, but it was kind of like a big garden shed. Really, it had two single beds, yeah, so yeah, I have stayed there, but I'm sure it's totally different now. Right, Jake, have you ever spent time in Isan? Yes, I spent 2 years in Khon Kaen. I was part of the opening team for the Portman Hotel, you know, the big hotel in the middle. It used to be a Sofitel, and I was part of the open. My background's hotels. I worked for hotel chains, and that's how I got out to Southeast Asia, the Middle East, India. I've been all around the world. I've been very, very lucky, blessed, really. I know that sounds corny, but I really think I have. And in answer to your question, I was one of the opening team who went up to Khon Kaen, and I lived in that hotel. And before the hotel was open, we stayed in a little Thai hotel. So yeah, I've been most places around. There isn't many places in Thailand I haven't been to. But saying that, I've never been to Buriram, where Damon's girlfriend lives, and I think I'll be going up there to visit them. Right, TGC 2450. I followed your diet and I lost 15 kilos. Really well done. I know the views of your video wasn't good, but the video was life-changing for me. So thank you. Yeah, I suppose when I interviewed Brian, well done for that, by the way. When I interviewed Brian Flowers, we were talking about YouTube. That's videos coming out on Sunday. And one of the things Brian said to me, he said, well, you know, if you stop making videos, your channel is not relevant anymore. And I kind of disagreed with that up to a point. And I'll tell you why, because what you're saying here reminds me of this conversation I had with Brian. So Brian was right. Videos, if you're out in Soy Cowboy every night, for instance, and you're the man on the ground, so you're like, okay guys, there's a party here tonight, don't forget this is Jack the owner and it opens at 8, and you know, tomorrow night there's a party over there and Nin's having a birthday party, and you're out there giving all this, you know, and people are following you to see what's on, and then suddenly you stop, then yeah, your channel's not relevant anymore. But a video like this, the diet video, it's kind of it hasn't got a shelf life, has it? Because it's going to be relevant forever, basically. So although this video had, I think it's had about 10,000 views, I could promote it. There's people in the Philippines and India. I could $20, I could go and get it, probably double the numbers, but I'm not bothered. But I'm really glad that you followed it and you lost it. I'll be honest with you, it's a lot easier to do in the summer because the weather's good. You're inspired to do it. I did 5 miles a day walking. It's actually very difficult. It's very difficult to stick to. But are you going to try and go for more? Try and get down to 20 kilos, but 15 kilos, that's impressive. You know, I mean, that's a lot of weight. I did 22. My goal was 25. I gave up on 22 because I was going to Thailand. I've actually put on about 4 or 5 kilos since I've been back, and I've got to get them off. But it's because it's winter. I haven't been able to walk outside all the time. You know, it's just how it is, isn't it? Let me just refresh this and see if I've got any more viewers, because it's still on the same number. No, it's still 354. Right, Paul Shackleton, you were saying something about a watermelon. Peter, Bangmo or watermelon is the Thai tea. Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah. I read about her earlier in the week. Yeah, so they're a bit suspicious about that. So if you haven't heard about this, it's a Thai, quite a good-looking Thai lady. She's a celebrity. She's on TV a lot, and she went out on a speedboat. And apparently she went to the back of the speedboat to have a pee. I don't know why, because I think they had a toilet on board. But anyway, she did. And right, I don't want to forget this subject, so I'm going to put that up, Damien. I'll say hi in a minute. So she's out on this speedboat. Apparently, the story was she went out on the back for a pee, and she fell off and she drowned. But they were suspicious about it, and they were doing tests on the boat and on her wetsuit to see if there was any signs of urine, this sort of thing, and there was a gash along her leg, but they said that could have been done by the propeller. So there isn't anything new on that. There's still, the last news I heard, I think it was yesterday, I read it, they were examining her body still, and they'll probably give out an announcement. Right, Damien, right, a joke. I said to my okay, this is one of your jokes, I hope it's funny. I said to my Thai girlfriend, where do you want to go for our anniversary? She said, I want to go to somewhere I haven't been before. I said, try the kitchen. I told you that one, Damien. Do you know, that's a good joke. I like that one. Yeah, I'm surprised we've only had the one in. The other one is my wife's. I asked my wife what she wanted. If you'll only get this if you're English or Irish. I asked my wife what she wanted for Christmas, and she said she wanted an animal skin coat. So I bought her a donkey jacket. It's a similar sort of thing. Right, Davy Boy 666. JB, I knew it was her. All right, something going on there. Private conversation. Right, bald mongering. Have you ever gone to Soy 6 but ended up in Soy 6/1. Do you know what? Soy 6? I'm not really that familiar with it. I did on my video when I was I did a video with Trevor Buzzing Pattaya, and we walked down Soy 6 in the daytime. But I never sort of hung out. I was more sort of beach road, walking street. That was more my sort of scene. When I was a bit younger and I used to hang out in Pattaya, there was no Soy Bacau, there was no Tree Town, there was none of that. Well, it was there, I suppose, but not the entertainment venue like it is now. And where we'd hang out was with Soy 7, Soy 8, a lot of time there. Then you'd walk along the beach road, you'd have a few there. And I forget the name of the street, but just before you hit Walking Street and you can turn left there where the BART buses park, there was a street there with a few small go-go bars there. Classroom or After Hours or something was there. And you had that funny hotel on the corner with those themed rooms. And then we'd head down Walking Street and we'd end up at the Marina Disco. That was more my sort of hangout. Right, Peter Shrive, brilliant comment, can't stop laughing. All right, I don't know which one, I can't remember which one that was. Oh, Wes, you've come off it, have you? I'll have to get back on the diet when I get home. Lost 6, but put back on 3. It's a problem. You can't blame you, Wes, because the problem is when you, like for instance in the UK, I'm sure it's similar in Australia, when the big motivator for me, I thought I'm finally going to go out to Thailand. I want to lose some weight when I go out there. So that motivates you, doesn't it? When you come back home, you're like, oh, what's the point? Okay. William Sullivan, greetings and salutations to you, Sir Peter. I'm Sir Peter now. Great. Thank you, William. Yeah, same to you, mate. Nice to see you in. Right. Peter Shrive, Soy 6 is crap. All right. I won't comment on that. I was talking to a guy in Australia who was, because I do have conversations with viewers. They send me emails or sometimes I hook up online or whatever. And this guy was telling, I didn't know what to tell him. This guy, what his job was, he worked for like a computer company, and he could work from home. And what he was doing, he was working for, it was like customer services, and he was telling me about it. I didn't have the heart to tell him. So basically his job was customer services for a computer company. So he'd be at home, somebody would write in and say, oh, my laptop won't switch on, and he'd go through the process to try and help them, and if not, sort it out so they can send it somewhere. But he had a lot of time in between doing this, and he started going on these online streams with the girls in Thailand, and he was telling me he met this girl in Soy 6, and we were talking about it, and I didn't have the heart to say anything. He was saying to me, she's really nice. She works in Soy 6, but she's only just started there, and she's told me she doesn't like working in the bar. And he was coming out with everything like I say, don't listen to. And, he started to send her money. He said, I'm going to Thailand for the first time, and she'll be waiting for me in Soy 6. And I'm like, my God, she's waiting for you in Soy 6. It'll be a case you'll get to a bar and, she just go out to get food, and then she comes down with a phalang. But yeah, all right. Okay, Roger, have you realized this is your most boring live stream? Roger, I don't want you to be mentally tortured, mate. Why torture yourself? Go and watch something else. You missed that one, Franco. Right, Simon Goodson, there's a few good bars in Soy 6 just off Soy 4. Okay. Glenn Hendricks, looking forward to a live stream with Steady Eddie and you the best. Cheers, Glenn. I don't think we'll have Roger in that one. He's sort of he's a bit bored. We'll have to send him to the refunds department, I think, tonight. Glenn, yeah, I don't know when that'll be with Eddie. I'm in contact with Ed Sweeney quite often, and I did invite him to do another stream with me. And he basically said, yeah, let's do another one, but not while I'm in Pattaya because it's boring. Let me wait till I go somewhere a bit more interesting, and then we'll do one there. Right, Taxi to Land. My girlfriend said she wanted me to kiss her somewhere wet that smelt of fish, so I took her to Grimsby. That one's grown a bit, isn't it? But thank you for that. Yeah, Richard, we're talking about the street just before, Soy 13/1 Penthouse Hotel. I think it's closed down now, and Classroom. Yeah, as you walked into the Soy, not from the beach road and from the second road, as I remember, Classroom was the first on the left, and then on the right was a Penthouse Hotel. And as you walked down, you had Rodeo, and I can't remember the name of any, but it's not important. Mr. Maori 555, yeah, same sort of time. I was first there, hung out in Soy 7-8, Pattaya Land and Walker Street back in 2002. Yeah, so that was kind of my heyday there, a bit before there, say 97, 98, and it was very different than it is now. Okay, we'll put that there. Franco, he says, I never didn't. I did see one of the comments that you got, Franco. That was a bit naughty, wasn't it? What that bloke left, and you caught it. So cheers for that. Yeah, all right. I mean, I've never understood that. You know, a guy comes onto a stream and he says, "Oh, this is such a boring stream." Yeah, it might be. There's 365 people here. There was 450 till the screen froze, but it might be. But why are you telling me that? If you feel it's boring, then there's absolutely thousands of YouTube channels out there, aren't there? I mean, I look at streams and I think, well, this is boring, but I don't write to the guy and say this is your most boring stream. I just go and watch something else. You know, it's a bit pathetic, really. Right, Patrick B. My Thai wife was yakking me lose weight. I said to her, stop yakking. I've had a lot on my plate lately. Oh, thank you for that. Another joke. Right, Dave Rudder. Peter, I'm 66 this time. I don't have a problem with things. I can still use a shovel all day. Yeah, I admire guys like you, Dave. We've got guys around here. I've got neighbours who are kind of like 70 and they're outside and they're digging and they're up on ladders. And yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm 62, but I haven't got one foot in the grave. I mean, I'm still active. Or I wouldn't be going out to Thailand, but I hear you. I hear you. My mate, the fool, married a girl from Bubbles a Go-Go in Pattaya, took him for everything he had. Guys, I know I always say this. The stories tomorrow, it's unbelievable. You know, there was a guy in last week's story. Remember the guy, he met that girl Joy and she took 10,000 baht from him. And then he went with her the next night, and then he borrowed 40,000 from his best friend, never paid him back. They fell out, went to Isan, bought her a house. Her other boyfriend ended up living there with him. Yeah, I mean, that Mr. Maru 555, my mate, the fool, married Barga from. Do you know what? If you know the story, I'd love to hear it. Put it down in a Word document, send it in. I'll read it out. I mean, people love these crash and burn stories, don't they? Right, JB, think this was it. Have you ever seen anyone famous in Thailand? I've seen a couple of people. Yeah, I once saw Athena, is it? Athena Turner browsing in Argos. She denied it was her, as in real life she has a small beard and can hardly speak English. Well, here's an interesting story. I'll tell you who I met. I'll tell you who I met. Let me just. I don't want to forget. Paul Shackleton. Thanks for that. I'll put it up, and I'm going to leave that so I don't forget. Famous people. Right, put that up. I'll leave it there. Famous people. Right, before I tell you who I met there, there used to be a go-go bar. It's a, well, I think it's closed down now. You know, in between Soy 7 and Soy 8 on the beach road there used to be a go-go bar. It's now a Burger King. And I was talking to Damon the other day, and he said he was in there, and Simon Le Bon walked in, and he sat down on a stool. He didn't kind of. He wasn't with like loads of people or a bodyguard or anything. This is way back in the 80s when they were famous, you know, when they were brought out hits like Rio and stuff. And he was sitting at the bar and the stage is there as you do. And he walked in and he actually sat on a stool at the stage and ordered a drink. And Damon was there and he kind of looked at him and he said, you're Simon Le Bon, aren't you? And Simon Le Bon turned around to him and he says, yeah, people tell me that I look like him. But it was him, apparently. The one I met was Steve Davis, the famous snooker player. I was in, funny enough, that street I was just talking about where Classroom was, 13/1. As Classroom's here on the left, you walk down the very last go-go bar on that side before you hit the beach road, the very last one, tiny little thing. It's long and narrow, little stage. I was in there sitting with a guy called Simon, a different Simon, having a beer. Steve Davis walks in, sits there, right there, and orders a beer. And my friend who was there, he just said, "You're right, Steve." And Steve was like, "Yeah, oh, yeah." And I didn't say anything, but yeah, I mean, you do bump into people when you're there. Yeah, thanks for that super chat, by the way. Timothy Rogers from Ohio, USA. Hello, Peter. I go for the weather, culture, food, not bar goes. We can love Thailand for different reasons. Love your bridge over the river. Quiet vlog. If you like that, you'll probably like the 8th Air Force abandoned airfield that I put up there called Grafton Underwood. Yeah, no, I mean, it's not. I think more people go to Thailand for the culture, the food, and all the rest of it than they do for the Monger. And it's not, you know, everybody's different, aren't they? But what I hate is people who like, you know, they have a go. If you're a Monger and you're single and you want to go out there and Monger, it's not like I said. As long as you're not hurting anybody, then, you know, you have these do-gooders. They come on and like, oh, you're you're using these girls, they're victims, and they come out with all these words, and they don't know what they're talking about. They've never been to Thailand before. I mean, if you go, I mean, we're the victim, or guys are the victims. If you see what happens in Pattaya, definitely the guys are the victims. I hate it when these sort of people come on and sort of judge, and they don't know what they're talking about. Was Simon's name Rio, and he danced up the sand? Yeah, all right. Crypto Rocketeer. Shane Warne, former Australia cricket, dies at age of 50. Yeah, we did that one, and we did a rest in peace, and I did the story. Okay. Steve Davis, did he pot the pink or the brown? That's another one that's grown a beard. Right, D. I haven't seen you in this. DKK, We Are the World was the bar next to it. Now Lee's are on the beach. Is it still a Go-Go bar? Because I thought it was Burger King, but that name does ring a bell. We Are the World. It does ring a bell. You know what I mean, don't you? You come out of Soy 8, turn right. Just before Soy 7, it was there. And it was kind of like, if I remember when you go in, it was very kind of, when you break these glow sticks, like lime green and stuff, there were them sort of colours inside, wasn't there? But I thought it was a Burger King. Somebody told me it was a Burger King. Raymond says that Steve Davis married a Geordie lass. Okay, right. Aldo DeLusa. Okay, look very shifty there. I have seen an American YouTuber that looks like Damon, either Thai videos or Filipino videos. All right. Excuse me. Right. I fly for me. Peter, thanks for another great live stream. Yeah, well, I'm glad you appreciated it, because the other guy said it was the most boring stream he'd ever seen. I've sent him a little note for his refund. Richard, okay. So a couple of people say, and a few people saying we are the world Go-Go bar now. So you know the one I'm on about anyway. Okay, Roger. Look, okay. I didn't know if you were sort of having a go at me or you were joking or whatever. I have seen you in before a few times, so I was quite surprised. You put it's an interesting channel. That's why I followed. But I can't. I'm one person, Roger. I don't know that I have to explain myself, but I've got. Last week I had 520 people in this stream. I've still got 378 people who are hanging on in here, so they're obviously interested. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to juggle? I could put some music on and maybe do a little dance for you. I don't know. I mean, you say it's a boring stream. What is a stream? Guys come on, they talk, they do a little bit of news. I don't know. What can I do that'd make you happy? But I have seen you before. Right. Smoothing I've seen you before as well. Soothing meditation. I sat down in a chip shop. Was it in Ireland? And at the next table was Liam and Noel Gallagher from Oasis. Were they fighting? They were playing a concert that night in a city closest to me. Yeah, fair enough. Fair play. Yeah, that's believable. Right, David R. I found the best time was 2010. Everything was open and people were happy. No half the business up for sale like after 2014. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's me, David, but I tend to think the same, because my heyday in Pattaya was kind of like 97, 98, 99. So if people ask me, I mean, I've got a tendency to have a similar comment like you, but that's just happy memories from me down there. Richard, that's Ed Sweeney's Roger a Dodger. Okay. Just see if I can find some. Right. No, I am Joy. Have you ever spent time? No, never been there. I presume that's Vietnam, is it? But that's one of the few Southeast Asian countries I haven't been to, and I'd love to go. And I don't know if I'll ever get the chance. I've never been to Vietnam. I've been to everywhere around it: Cambodia, Philippines, Thailand, Laos. I haven't been to Laos either. I don't know if that's any good. Right, Black Bolt, love the stream, Peter. Always entertaining. Thank you, mate. Thanks for the support. I kind of feel like gutted now. Somebody told me it was so boring. Right, Franco. Right, remember the 2-hour limit 4 minutes ago? Laugh out loud. Yeah, was it 1 hour 58 we've been on now? Maybe it's not counting the time that the stream was down. All right, let's give it 5 minutes, Franco, because I know you've got to get your beauty sleep, right? We'll give it 5 minutes. I just want to say hi. I want to say bye to anybody else who I've missed, or a few comments here. Mike Jones. Right, let me check the time. 59. I'll give it another 5 minutes. I'll just read out a few more comments because they're coming in thick and fast now, and I like it when it's like this. Paid 600 for a flight on Monday. Do you know what, Mike? Believe it or not, I went economy in December, and I paid. It's the cheapest flight I could get direct. I paid, I think it was 1,300, just over £1,300. That's a lot, isn't it, for economy? Leonard Matros, greetings from South Korea. Be interesting where you are in South Korea, Leonard. I was in Busan, I believe they call it Busan now. That's where I met my wife. She was working in a hotel behind the reception counter. She was 19 at the time, and I spent a year, just under a year, in Busan. I can't say it was my favorite location in the world, but I was there anyway. 20 Rocklands, thank you for everything. Great seeing you. Yeah, okay. Right, let's whiz through these because Franco needs his beauty sleep. Right. Right, Roger. Peter, don't mix me up with the other Roger. I've just come back in. All right, Roger. Maybe you're Roger Akeas. Okay. Right. Taxi Dalal. What did you pay for the flights in the 90s, Peter? Well, I didn't, because I was out there full time. I when I first went out in the early 90s, sorry, I went out with the hotels. They paid for my tickets. So I don't even know what they cost. I mean, I first started paying for my own flights. I mean, I came back to the UK in 2000, and then by 2001, I think I was back on a flight. I think I used to pay my early flights when I came back in 2000. My early flights back out to Thailand, I think they were like £360 return direct. The early days, they haven't gone up that much ever, actually. Robert Parks, USA. Thanks for that, mate. It's afraid we won't have any more because Simon doesn't do them for me now. Magruder Horn. Hey, Peter, I'm turning 62 this month. We are both a couple of old farts. Yeah, you speak for yourself. Right, Mark P. Paid 340 with KLM from Birmingham. Yeah, but you'll have to stop over in KLM, Dutch airline, isn't it? So you'll stop off in, is it Helsinki? No, that's Finland. Christ, I can't remember what it was, but you'll have an hour or two stop. That's it, Skippo. I can't pronounce it, but yeah, you will. Peter, for well-known YouTubers have admitted to the LB experience. Oh, Peter, for well-known Thai YouTubers have admitted to the lady experience. Any thoughts? If I'd had a ladyboy experience, I wouldn't be ashamed of it. I would say I tried it once and I didn't like it, or I tried it and I swear by them now. I don't go with anybody else. But honestly speaking, you can believe it or you don't have to believe it. I had my my Korean wife with me, and no, I haven't experienced the delights of a ladyboy. When I go out there when I'm single, will I? I doubt it. But never say never. And if I do, I will come on here. I'll remember you, and I'll let you know. Richard, my ticket cost 556. Thai Airways return this month. That's about normal. That's normal what I pay, Richard. Right, 3 minutes. Okay. Patrick, Mrs. Klangan, I bought her a few drinks. She was very Mac drinker, drank more than me. Okay. Roger, OnlyFans follow you for 2 hours. All right, Roger. Roger, okay, look, no hard feelings. All right. You probably didn't mean it in malice, and because you've been here quite a few times. But, you know, when you put a lot of effort into something like this, and don't forget to talk constantly for 2 hours and try and keep people entertained, when you get a comment like that, it kind of deflates you a little bit, to be honest with you. It's not, I got thick skin and it's water a duck's back, but when you're trying your best to sort of entertain everybody and keep everybody in good spirits, and somebody leaves a comment like that, it does deflate you a little bit. I'll be honest with you, and you know, I'll get the tissues out and I'll start crying. But you know, no hard feelings anyway. Right, Franco, go to bed. We'll see off the trolls. No, he's all right. Good lad, Franco. Right, I think we're nearly there, guys. Yeah. Right. Okay. So let's finish up as usual. I can't say bye to every single person, so I'll do it in a general way. Let me get my finish up music ready. Right. So tomorrow, guys, 4 stories in the morning. The one about the Swedish guy will rev you up. You'll be ready to hit you. Don't bash your computer screen, okay? Because it'll rev you up. It revved me up, but it's a good story. Sunday, we've got the interview with Brian Flowers. I'm interviewing him. That's a 55-minute video. Lots of good information from Brian about setting up a business in Thailand, the do's, the don'ts, the trolls, all that sort of thing. And then next Friday, hopefully, I'll be back for another live stream. So until then, guys, look, thanks to all of you. It's a shame we dropped the internet dropped out. I'll try and sort that out. I don't know what I can do, but it believe me, guys, it pissed me off more than it pissed you off. All right, so that's it until the stories tomorrow. I'll see you next Friday. Thanks for joining me for another 2 hours of mayhem, and it's been a good stream. Thanks, guys. Good night.
คุณที่ต้องการเกิดความเหลือเกินนรสงปัญหาเงินปัญหารักเข้ามารุมมรดกยิ่งใหญ่สักหนาจนบางวันคิดฆ่าว่าตายมารับได้ก็ทำร้องน้ำตาคนเสียใจ